Rachel, good evening from Scotland, and it's lovely to speak to you. At, well, at last. Um, Sadly, it's not directly speaking, but it'll do as a start, I hope. And um, it occurs to me that I haven't. One of my many failings has been has been not to do you one of these readings and stick it on YouTube. And I've chosen something that I think you will like because it is actually the book that inspired your previous pet name. It is Camera Lucida by Roland Barthes, and it's a sort of disquisition on um, on the philosophy of photography. Um, Barthes isn't really an easy chap to get to the bottom of. I think that's deliberate. Um, he does branch off into metaphysics, phenomenology, and all sorts of peripheral abstract ideas. Um, so it is in no way a how-to manual or even an aesthetic appreciation of the art of photography. It's just a meditation on its nature. Um, and I'm going to read a passage. Well, it's listed as point 7 of his of his of the book. Um, yeah, I think it's probably the best one. Um, I'll just read it, and I think with Bart, it's very much a case of you get what you can out of it. It's just respond to it if in certain respects it touches what you believe, then it's great, and it might set off certain ideas in your head. Um, I'll just get on and read it. Camera Lucida by Roland Barthes. I decided then to take as a guide for my new analysis the attraction I felt for certain photographs. For of this attraction, at least, I was certain. What to call it? Fascination? No, this photograph, which I pick out and which I love, has nothing in common with the shiny point which sways before your eyes and makes your head swim. What it produces in me is the very opposite of hebetude, something more like an internal agitation, an excitement, an uncertain labour too, the pressure of the unspeakable which wants to be spoken. Well then, interest. Of brief duration. I have no need to question my feelings in order to list the various reasons to be interested in a photograph. One can either desire the object, the landscape, the body it represents, or love or have loved the being it permits us to recognize, or be astonished by what one sees, or else admire or dispute the photographer's performance, etc. But these interests are slight, heterogeneous. A certain photograph can satisfy one of them and interest me slightly, and if another photograph interests me powerfully, I should like to know what there is in it that sets me off. So it seemed that the best word to designate, temporarily, the attraction certain photographs excited upon me was advenience, or even adventure. The picture advenes, and others don't. The principle of adventure allows me to make photography exist. Conversely, without adventure, no photograph. I quote Sartre. Newspaper photographs can very well say nothing to me. In other words, I look at them without assuming a posture of existence. Though the persons whose photograph I see are certainly present in the photograph, they are so without existential posture, like the night and death present in Dürer's engraving, but without positing them. Moreover, cases occur where the photograph leaves me so indifferent that I do not even bother to see it as an image. The photograph is vaguely constituted as an object, and the persons who figure there are certainly constituted as persons, but only because of their resemblance to human beings, without any special intentionality. They drift between the shores of perception, between sign and image, without ever approaching either. End of quote. In this glum desert, suddenly a specific photograph reaches me. It animates me, and I animate it. So that is how I must name the attraction which makes it exist. An animation. The photograph itself is in no way animated. I do not believe in lifelike photographs. But it animates me. This is what creates every adventure. Well, brief, but rather dense. I'm sorry, I did not read that particularly well. I hadn't prepared it, and it's very, very full, even cluttered with ideas, isn't it? I have to be honest, and actually the only thing I really got out of that was Sartre's quote. I didn't know that Sartre had such a refined sense of aesthetics. I suppose it all ties in with his concept of being. Anyway, it's late where you are, and it's certainly getting late here, and I'm not going to start thinking about that. Thank you for listening, and I would be very, very happy to read anything for you in the near future. Maybe some more of that, if that wasn't too awful. Sleep well when you go. Bye bye.